everybody. Happy Friday to you. I don't know. I'm not even about to play with this lighting because I'm tired of it. And this is supposed to be a crappy live stream, guys. So let's get on code with what we're expecting to see, right? You're going to see me any kind of way, right? Um, and obviously, it's going to be low production, but the information might be of value to you. So I did a live stream last night and I was talking about the comedian Andrew Schultz comments, about black women. Now, I was looking at the clip from another YouTuber and they actually cut out, to me, a very important part of that conversation. And I think when you look at I don't look at the shits and gigs Shits and Giggles podcast. Never seen it in my life at all. I guess it's a podcast out of the UK. And if you know anything about those sort of UK black looking people, right? They have very similar sentiments to some of these people, non-black people, but black-looking people that come over here and immigrate to America. They have very low opinions about Black Americans. Many of them, I'm not going to say all of them in the UK, but they are very open to sharing their negative stereotypes. Matter of fact, the black-looking people that the podcaster Pearly Things aligned herself with were UK black-looking people, right? So obviously it confuses, an audience when they see black people talking negatively about black people, but they don't realize that we're not all the same. Those UK blacks people are not like us. They're just not, right? But I was actually listening to the entire, statements that were made before Andrew Schultz went into his statements about black women. And I think it's interesting that, regardless of what comments that these guys have said in the past about black women, and it could be to me a reflection of their opinions, right? They're on the mic apologizing like beta men right now instead of standing on all the things that they have said about black women before. And the only reason why you're apologizing is that you're being called out. And apparently the podcast is being canceled. People don't like the remarks that they were laughing at, from Andrew Schultz. Now, I think it's really notable that, I don't know what the guy's name is, the lighter complexion guy on this podcast, but he was actually not going in on black women. Like he was talking about the black girlfriend effect, right? Like when a non-black guy gets with a black woman, how she kind of Erica Badu's him a little bit, right? She's gonna change him a little bit, right? Three Stacks started off wearing jerseys and gym shoes, and after he got with Erica Badu, the dude was just like a black hippie, looking like Jimi Hendrix, you know, Andre 3000, Common, these brothers was not the same after they got under the spell of Erica Badu. When they got that Baduism, right, them brothers started completely changing the way that they dressed, right? And that was kind of the line of thought that I was getting from this guy with the shits and giggles. Like, when you get with a black girlfriend, she's going to be changing your style. And he was like, and the guy goes from basically wearing his hair like any kind of way to like tapering his hair, right? And this is when Andrew Schultz come in with his negative opinion. Now, before Andrew Schultz even comes in, right, there's an Indian guy on this platform who is he talked about the black girlfriend effect, and immediately the Indian dude, that's why we don't trust Kamala. She's not
I'm
like
here
us.
for it, bro. I'm here for the multicultural,
Black
man.
girlfriend effect.
Yeah,
came
you're
in,
into that.
Yeah,
And Meghan
she
Markle's
came
fine
in.
as
What's the
fuck,
black
so-
girlfriend? They just come in and start fighting?
All right, so they're talking about the black girlfriend effect, and the Indian dude says, "What's the black girlfriend effect? What is it? She comes in and just start fighting, right? And
You guys don't know about the black girlfriend effect. She just.
Wait, what is the black girlfriend effect? This is
you man don't know about this. Glow up the other culture. Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend. All of a sudden, he's got buzz cut, like clean shape up.
Right. So dude is saying that you'll know a guy who's had a black girlfriend because basically he's gonna be styled a little bit different than your normal guy that's like him. Right. Right. Which is true. Like I said, it is very true. Right. And so I don't think this dude is really going in saying anything very negative about black women, right? It's Andrew Schultz and this Indian looking dude that really starts well, the Indian dude starts it off, right? He's like, "Oh, what is that? They come in fighting, right?" So Indian dude is obviously thinking violent women synonymous with black women, right? We don't know if he's ever had any experiences with black women. We don't know if he's just talking off of projections that he has seen of black women. And this is very important for anybody when you're talking about stereotypes and arguments about any set of group or people, right? Ask this person, are you speaking from experience or are you speaking from a projection or a stereotype that has been fed to you? Because a lot of people, they are basing their opinions, their bias, their ideas of people and groups off of these ignorant funded projections by these supremacist type people, right? Who love to narrate other people in a negative way so that they can maintain some idea of supremacy, because when you peel back their layers, they're very low value people. They just got money, right? So I don't think this guy at the Shits and Giggles podcast was really trying to go in on black women. And I wasn't offended by this dialogue, even down to what Andrew Schultz had said. I wasn't offended. I just really kind of thought it came from a very ignorant place. But considering it's Andrew Schultz, right? And, I have my opinions about, people like that, I just felt like, let's just digest what Andrew said and call him out. And that's kind of what I was trying to do in my last night live stream is let's call you out, Andrew, because you are a culture vulture. And right, and we got to call out some obvious things about these culture vultures, right? Where they kind of weave themselves in little creative ways into the black culture. And then again, they feel like they can say anything to and about us unchecked and without scruples. And we can't tolerate that. That is very intolerable for any group of people to just allow other people to narrate them. And black people have done that enough, and enough is enough. And everybody's getting called out. Everybody's getting called out. If you think that you are going to fund a narrative about black American people in general, black women, you're gonna get the call out. You're gonna get shamed. You're gonna get shamed for the shame that you are.
Exactly. I like that. I like that. They shave their hair because they start losing it. Because they're so stressed around this black girl.
So this is when
complaining about shit all the fucking time. That's why they gotta shave their hair.
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they
grow a beard because there's more cushion when they get slapped the fuck out of. That's hilarious. I think the black girlfriend in general. Oh,
yeah. So I don't necessarily think that what he was saying was coming from a place of racism. I think he was coming from a place of projection. I think that what is probably projected to a person like Andrew Schultz is nothing but negative images of black women, likely from the poverty line. And those women tend to have a different psychology, and they do tend to be more activated than your more civilized type black women. And so, a lot of these people, and I said this before, you take a white American who was raised predominantly around white people, right? Never had any interactions with black people at all, right? And what you're going to find is the conclusions, the ideas that this white American has about black people are more rooted in what is being projected to them, right? So, this is the same for these people over in the UK. and everywhere else. If you're being fed repetitive and negative projections about a certain group of people, then obviously you're going to run on certain conclusions about those people. It's not until you get out of this matrix that you start really existing and living a human experience that you get to the opportunity to challenge stereotypes and bias, right? And you're able to see a lot of these conversations, and you can identify the fallacies in them, right, that exist in many of them. So I really don't think that, it's sad because, you got this podcast group. They looks like, let me see if I can find shits and giggles. I mean, these podcasts are huge, like they're huge. And I don't follow a lot of these podcasts. I'm just getting up on them, but okay, here's shits and gigs podcast. Okay, these people got
I'm just
almost
baited a post
2
the other day.
million subscribers on their YouTube channel. 1.93 million, right? So these guys almost got 2 million subscribers on their podcast, right? And they risk their podcast, right? And they risk their podcast to go on and have a conversation with Andrew, Schultz about interracial relationships, right? And here's the thing, again, I don't care where you live, UK, America, right? We live in a culture where, people feel like they can say whatever they want to say without consequences, right? But there are always people who are receiving what you say, and obviously there are some people who are going to be emotional about anything that they hear that's triggering to them. And then there's people like me, I'll look at it objectively, right? I'm not going to scream racism about everything. I'm going to kind of look at, where could this person be coming from, right? And that's why even in my last podcast, I'm like, I'm not going to call this guy a racist, right? I'm going to kind of dig into who he is. And I'm just going to say, again, I believe that Andrew Schultz is a culture vulture. I believe black culture, had, certain black people have allowed him to come in, commentate, and curate, right? And we always have to be careful, and any cultural group has to be careful about the individuals that they allow to come in their community and do those things, right? Because if you're trying to preserve some idea and narration of your culture, you can't have people who are removed from your culture just in there thinking that, they're so immersed that they can go outside of the culture on other platforms and say whatever they want to say about your people and your women, right? Because Andrew Schultz knows that he comes from a community where that would not be tolerated, right? Ain't nobody's about to go on a podcast and talk about Andrew Schultz women, right? The way that he feels so comfortable talking about black women, right? So, I mean, I think it's just important for people to mind their tongues, right? No matter how funny you think you are, right? And I think humor, it even has its limits where, like when I listen to what Andrew Schultz said, if I was a person that just bought into the stereotypes, it would have been funny. It would have been funny, right? What he said, and honestly, just thinking about some activated black women that I know, right? It was funny, it kind of expires a little laughter, right? Because there are some black women that are activated like that. But when you think about the types of black women that these people are describing, right, they're really not describing, the cream of the crop black women. They're not describing remotely your everyday black woman who's just out here taking care of business, doing her thing, and she's not worried about these people, right? Yeah, I think that, they tend to get conflated with these thoughts, right? Right? These whole culture black women, right? And if this is these men's experiences, most of these men, they're dealing with whole culture type of women of all colors, right? And they tend to conflate that culture of women to all women. And it's like it really boils down to you guys are picking these stereotypes of women, right? Because that's probably all maybe, right? And you're getting a stereotypical outcome, right? So people need to learn how to be selective, across the board. But, these guys are apologizing for Andrew Schultz's comments, in relation to the conversation that they had. But, I don't know if I feel like they should be canceled. I don't know if I feel like they should be canceled or not, right? And again, I'm not really down with canceling people. I feel like people can say whatever they need to say or feel, with scruples, but they always have to understand that people may be evaluating what they're saying and how they're saying it. And, they may have a not so favorable, reaction, right? Another thing is, I can't wait for this political cycle to be over. I really can't, right? But I've been watching different bloggers and different news people covering Kamala Harris, right? And I don't agree with Kamala Harris. I'm not voting for her. I'm not voting for either one of those people, right? So there's that. Um, I don't advocate for either one of those people. But I don't really like the way people are continuously trying to portray her character, right? Not, if you don't feel like she's a smart woman, you don't feel like whatever, you feel like she stole the nomination from Joe Biden, that woman is not in control. She is a puppet in a machine. She's not in control, and I think that people are doing their best to try to narrate her as stupid. And here's the thing, I don't think she's the sharpest tool in the shed. I don't think she's a person to have, pattern reasoning and conviction. So therefore, she's not somebody that I think has a lot of high level of intelligence. But I don't care what color of person you are. There are just certain people that don't have high levels of intelligence, right? But I do feel like I'm seeing all these people kind of take stabs at Kamala, like, oh, she's, I don't know, but they don't have that same energy for Trump, right? And there's a lot of red flags, in my opinion, about Trump that people are not. Obviously, people got their gods in this cycle, right? But Trump is saying stuff that I think are so red flaggy. He's alluding to things, right? You got this propaganda machine, right? Setting Trump up to be talking about Iran. And, first, there was little rumor mills. Oh, Iran tried to assassinate Trump. And I'm like, well, why the hell would they want to do that? Right? Why would Iran just wake up and be like, you know what? It's Trump. We want Trump, not America. We want Trump specifically, right? And then they're on this whole FBI informs the Trump administration that Iran is spying on his campaign and giving information to the Biden Harris campaign. This sounds like the Russia hoax that the Democrats were trying to pull, right? It sounds like the Russia hoax, right? So again, you do what you want to do, right? But you're talking about these double talking demons, right? They are the same head on the same coin. They're a different head on the same coin. They are a different head on the same coin. So neither one of these people are super duper strong. I mean, we'll see what Trump do if he wins, right? We'll see what he does for America. But I feel like there's just a lot of bias right now in the media between these two candidates, right? I mean, Kamala Harris is just getting it like back and forth. My algorithm is riddled with negative stuff about Kamala Harris now, right? But on the flip side, there's zero about Trump. Nothing about his assassination. I don't know. They got Diddy in jail, and people are talking about he's going to get Epsteined. I said this in my last video, right? I said this in my last live stream yesterday that the rhetoric that has been being set up around Diddy is going to be a matter of time before you see these cycles of conversations happening. Now, supposedly, Diddy is supposed to be on a suicide watch, right? And again, if Diddy ends up dead in jail, I'm not going to believe that he killed himself. I'm going to believe that the industrial machine that has enabled that man all these decades are taking him out of the game, and they did it. Just like they did it with Epstein. And they want us to believe that these people are just somehow natural causes of self-sabotaging. No, these people are coordinating to take people out of the game. And Diddy sold his soul to the wrong devils, right? You sold your soul to the wrong devils, and the devil is coming to pay, right? He must, like I said, and I posted a video literally about a month or so ago, and I was like, who did Diddy bribe? Who did Diddy bribe, right? And I think that it's important to note too that Diddy wasn't running no enterprise. He was empowered to have the enterprise that he was running. That man was empowered. He was empowered by some other people that he managed to piss off. And now they're coming after him and taking him out the game. Right. But they act like, I hear Fox News, Jesse Water was talking about Diddy did this and they were luring women into it's like, man, this narrative I don't bite on this narrative. It's too many freaky people in the world for me to be focused on that man having freak offs, right? They're not talking about anything dealing with evil file stuff relating to Diddy. You have a lot of side chick bloggers coming out and talking about different allegations, but the news specifically is talking about his freak offs and his private parties, right? And in the broad scheme of things, none of that stuff is really illegal. Nothing that he was doing was really illegal. There are a lot of high elite parties where there's drugs, there's women, there's illicit sex, all of that stuff. None of this stuff really per se was illegal, right? What was the danger for these people was the collateral that Diddy had. It was the collateral. Diddy is taking the fall because he probably bribed the wrong type of people, and he has the collateral on the wrong type of people. And if he's not willing to give it up or anything like that, then they're going to take him out the game. That's why they keep saying that, oh God, this stuff, these tapes that Diddy had, it could destroy the whole music industry, right? They're setting this up for a reason. They're using these words for a reason, right? They are setting us up to believe that a whole bunch of people are going to be damaged by Diddy and these tapes, this collateral that he has, right? And so when I think about rhetoric like that, the only thing that I think about as a logical person who exists in Satan world and know how it works is they're going to 86 him. They're going to take him out. Right? I was actually looking at that one scene in Monsters Ball with Diddy. I'm like, I'm sure that dude feel like that right now. That man probably feels like he's on death row. He probably know he's on death row, right? But the problem is, you know, people do all that stuff and stuff still comes out. Stuff still comes out. And if Diddy is halfway as smart as I think that he probably is, right? Whatever the FBI, right, think that they have in totality, right, are really just there's probably tons of copies of whatever collateral he had And I'm pretty sure he has an insurance policy on his life, right? That's probably like, I don't know if Jazine Maxwell is still alive or not, if she's actually rotting in jail or some resort for rich people who get sentenced or not. But that's why she's not dead, because she probably has an insurance policy, on her life. So we will see. We will see if Diddy ends up not with us anymore with the guise of self deletion, right? You know, we will know. We will know that he didn't have enough collateral to save his life. He didn't have enough insurance to save his life, right? Right? Depending on the collateral, that could be his insurance policy. That's why they call damaging information on people an insurance policy, right? And it's an insurance policy because it could either keep you alive, or when you go down, you will take a whole bunch of people with you. So some of these people who are engaged in some of these wicked lifestyles, they already know what the fall might look like. And some of them are probably planning for that fall, right? And, I think, these people, they know what they're dealing with, right? And Diddy has been around these people long enough, right? Where if Diddy ends up gone, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of stuff that they're going to be working really hard to suppress the internet from a lot of leaked stuff. I think a lot of stuff is just going to magically leak about people. Shoot, the FBI will probably do it themselves because we know they be leaking stuff. They're not loyal to anything but a narrative, right? And setting people up. Like, it's probably one of the more corrupt agencies in the United States. Useless psyops. That's what they are, right? They take a bunch of beta people, make them into little stormtroopers, make them feel like they got some little relevance in life, and it's like, here, go ruin somebody else's life because we don't like them. And they're like, all right, they get their tokens. But anyways, we gonna pray for Brother Diddy, right? We pray for his soul. We pray that he repents, right? And we pray that maybe some of these demons that are not coming after him, like, they don't take him out the game. But it's not looking too good for our brother Diddy, right? It really isn't, right? I was looking on X and I'm looking at all this stuff. He's on a suicide watch list. This is People Magazine, right? Sean Diddy Combs placed on suicide watch while waiting trial, but mental state unclear, sources say. They are setting us up for this man to so-called 86 himself. This is a setup to the public, right? This is People Magazine reporting this. What is this other magazine? Let me see. This is TSR. Diddy reportedly placed on suicide watch while awaiting trial at detention center. So they setting us up to believe that this man is suicidal, right? They're setting us up to believe that this man is suicidal, right? He was denied bail, right? And it says, and this is People Magazine, Sean Diddy Combs placed on suicide watch after awaiting trial, but mental state unclear, sources say. Mental state unclear. So you're saying that this man has an unclear mental state, but you're going to put him on a suicide watch list. They're setting the public up to believe that this man is fluid idle. They weird like that. You can't say certain things, but they're setting us up to believe that this man wants to delete himself. So when they take care of him, right, we'll think that he was an Epstein, which still nobody believes that Epstein did it. But they're setting us up. Look at these major tabloids Talking about some, you don't know what his mental state is, but you're going to put him on a suicide list. Right? They're literally reporting that this man is that because they're setting the public up for when he. Because here's the thing, I don't think Diddy. I think they know Diddy got some stuff, extra stuff, hidden stuff. They're trying to figure out and do everything they can because they're trying to protect people. This has nothing to do with Diddy's freak offs, and let's just be really clear about that. All of this is not even about all the evil stuff that Diddy has done because all of that stuff was protected. All of it. As long as Diddy was playing ball with whoever he's been fooling with in the music industry, he was always protected to do the evil stuff that he did to other people. This is not about the evil stuff that Diddy did. This is about protecting people who were aligned with Diddy doing that evil stuff to people. It's just like Epstein, right? They are protecting people, right? And if they feel like they can't protect these high level people, they're going to take you out of the game. They're going to tell you that you're crazy. They're going to vilify you, going to paint you as a mustard. All of this, Diddy did not have an enterprise without another enterprise enabling his enterprise. Okay? So I think we give some of these black folks, who seem to have power, too much credit, right? They got power over the lemmings that they are assigned to gatekeep, right? But the masters of the cage, right, are calling the shots. Diddy was a setup guy. He was a setup guy. Maybe he set up the wrong people. I don't know. But I do know that he started pissing the Democratic Party off in 2020 when he started telling black people to vote based off of tangibles and do not vote, making these people earn their vote, right? This is around that Charlemagne the God thing too. When Joe Biden told Charlemagne, "You're not black if you don't vote for me." Around that same time, Diddy did an interview, or he did like a live stream or a TikTok or something. But Diddy was getting a lot of flack because he was telling black people, make them earn your vote. And as a Democratic lemming, that is not what that machine wanted Diddy to say. So if you go against that machine, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go against you. And these people do nothing but catalog, right? Again, Diddy thought that he was invincible, right? Because he was able to get away with all the stuff that he was getting away with for so many years, right? But he didn't realize that once you turn against the machine will rage against you, right? So he raged against this machine that empowered him for all this time, right? And then the machine turned against him, right? And that's what we're seeing of Diddy. And again, I think that people try to make, I think people spin these stories, right? And, you see all these people going and attacking Diddy, going after him, right? And it's easy to feel sorry for this brother, but he is a monster. He sold himself and his lifestyle, his family into this debauchery, into this BS. And he probably built a nice bulk of his wealth doing these debauch setup things. And so he definitely gets what he deserved. Karma is a B, right? And, I don't think Brother Diddy's going to be with us for very long. I don't think Brother Diddy is going to be with us for very long. Hopefully he'll play ball and give them all of what they want so that they can feel like they can protect some of these deviant people of high ranks. If not, we're going to be seeing RIPs, Diddy. I really do feel like that. I mean, they're setting it up. They're setting it up that this man is suicidal. Why you think Jussie Smollett, when he got arrested and he got sentenced, he was like, "I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal." There's a reason why these stars who have these fall from disgraces, right? when they start getting arrested and the first thing they say is, I'm not suicidal, right? Because they know that this is how these elite industry type of people work, right? When you sell your soul, right? You doing that in blood. And trust and believe they gonna get it back from you in some way. They gonna get it back from you, right? If you are not playing ball, or if you think that you're gonna be a detractor from whatever they have, brought you in on. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Happy Sabbath to those who observe. Have your day of rest. I've been cleaning and organizing today so I can just chill and coast. I got to jump out yonder, um, and just get in nature this weekend. I wanted to unplug, be away from a lot of just noise and just, chill. I might go to Chicago on Saturday and hang out with some fam. But other than that, I'm coasting this weekend. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. Keep your prayers up. The world is crazy. The world is crazy. A lot of this stuff is a lot of distraction too, though, right? A lot of this Diddy stuff, look over here, right? It's distraction, right? This is a political cycle. There's a lot of things being said, a lot of things being done, and it's really a look over here. Here's a bunch of distractions for you to pay attention to. Meanwhile, both of these political candidates are garbage. They're garbage. They're epic garbage on so many different levels, and I don't think either one of them can turn around what has happened to this nation. And that's not being pessimistic. It's just, how do you pay off, how do you get down $35 trillion in debt? How do you reduce $35 trillion in debt? Neither one of these candidates are talking like that, right? They're not talking like that, right? Somebody has to bring that debt down. Somebody has to bring it down. And unfortunately, cutting taxes is not really the solution, because you need the tax revenue to bring down these obligations. But neither one of these people are like being very intelligent about how they're talking to folks, because they're politicking to people. So we shall see which one of these demons, you know, are assigned to ruin all of our lives indiscriminately. Except for the ones who are marked with the wild beast, right? If you're marked with the wild beast in your head and your heart, you'll be all right, because Satan always takes care of his people in this world. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. Bye.